let's talk about Bannon, because in this book you take a deep dive into his world. Former Trump advisor, guru to an emergent international far right. It sounds like you listened to a lot of episodes of Bannon's War Room. I feel like you really took one for the team. And I found this to be one of the most valuable parts of the book. You write that not enough people on the left, as you mentioned earlier, have actually tried to understand the agenda he's crafting, what he calls MAGA Plus. Tell us about that.
So if we think about what he did as Trump's campaign manager and chief strategist in the run-up to Trump's victory in 2016, I think Bannon played an absolutely critical role in turning Trump into a certain kind of working class hero. Not for everyone, but for particularly like kind of guys in the Rust Belt who were really disaffected. They'd voted Democrat many times, back to Bill Clinton promising to renegotiate the trade deals and just gotten more of them. And so, Trump was not somebody who used to talk about free trade very much, but suddenly this became a centerpiece of his platform, that he was going to bring the jobs back, that he was going to renegotiate NAFTA, that he was going to get you the great deal, right? So, this is an important dynamic to understand, because this is only available to Trump because the Democrats have betrayed voters, ceded this territory. This used to be an issue for the left. I came up in the globalization movement. It didn't used to be reactionary to talk about these trade deals, but it does point to the fact that this has not been an issue on the left for a long time. And, it's dangerous to create that kind of a political vacuum. And so I think the reason why Bannon and Wolf have teamed up in, what I describe as like one of the strangest buddy movies of all times is that, Bannon can read an electoral map and he knows why Republicans have lost the last few. And a lot of it has to do with women voters. So he's trying to figure out how to appeal to more women voters, mostly white women, but not exclusively white women. And he saw a huge amount of potential and energy in, he calls them the warrior moms, the moms who were very upset about prolonged school closures, very upset about mask mandates in schools, very upset about vaccine mandates, the people wearing those, I can't breathe T-shirts about masks and so on. And so what happens is that, so this is what he means by MAGA Plus. It's basically MAGA plus all that my doppelganger represents to him. And he says, like, all these people out there listening to Naomi Wolf, he says that she should be nominated for Woman of the Year. And so what's interesting and really chilling to watch is how he pivots these COVID complaints to territory that we would see as more recognizable as a MAGA agenda, right? Transphobia, book banning, and obviously what he calls the border war. All of it is cast as grooming. All of it is cast as attacks on our kids, and all of it is about like controlling what you can control, which is the family, the child. And that's where much of the COVID energy is pivoting, right? It's pivoting to transphobia. It's also pivoting to opposing climate action. That's something else we need to pay attention to. It's been interesting to watch how now, like, since the mandates have been lifted, like, where is this energy going to go? And some of it's going to, we've just seen these huge protests in Canada, right? Attacking LGBTQ rights. But it's also going into these weird sort of paranoid narratives around like the 15-minute city, and just like really bureaucratic, benign urban planning around parking suddenly becomes, a fulcrum of paranoia, and this idea that it's going to be used to lock you in your house and never let you go anywhere that isn't 15 minutes away. So that's important to be aware of if we hope to get sane climate policies through at some point.
You pointed out that this kind of warped mirror agenda is being picked up elsewhere outside of the United States. I definitely see elements of it surfacing in Canada, in conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's, agenda. He mixes the kind of expressions of sympathy for the left behind, people who are struggling thanks to decades of neoliberalism, cost of housing, cost of living, the tax on the elite, including that kind of global Davos elite, and then mixes in, of course, the transphobia, opposition to climate action.
It also shows what a disadvantage liberals and leftists, pseudo-leftists are, who are, aligned with them. Because, if you're out there saying everything is broken and you're speaking to the fact that people can't, afford their, grocery bill, and they can't imagine being able to afford a home, you may have an agenda that's actually going to make it worse, which I think is true of Poilievre, but at least you are saying something that feels a little bit close to reality for a lot of people. Like all the promises of capitalism, work hard, meritocracy, you'll have a better life than your parents. It's all crashing. It's not working. It's broken, right? And so you have all these figures who are selling a counterfeit response. They're speaking to the rage, the disappointment, the pain. They're not offering anything real. But if the people running against them are running on everything's great, the economy's booming, haven't you noticed? Then that is its own kind of lie, its own kind of counterfeit. I think that the center-right and center-left parties that have traded power over the last half century set the table for a situation in which it's going to be one kind of radicalism or another, right? I'm not both sidesing it. I'm not saying, oh, we're twinsies, we're the same, horseshoe theory. No, I believe that only a robust left that is actually offering, tangible improvements to people's lives and taking on elite power in a real way has any chance of standing up to this, right? Which is why, since I've been on book tour, I get these questions like, what should we do about the conspiracy theorists? Do we need more fact checkers? Do we need more content moderators? Do we deplatform them? And, when I don't think we can fact check our way out of it, But when I heard Sean Fain, the new president of the UAW, pounding the table about the greedy bosses not sharing their record profits with working people and leading this, very innovative strike action, I thought, he's probably doing more to counter this conspiracy culture than, an army of fact checkers, because he's actually showing what actual left populism looks like. And when you have that in the public domain, this Poilievre nonsense looks like the counterfeit that it is.